Hello everyone, I'm Emily. I am a third year physical therapy student, and this is everything that I would buy if I was going to graduate school this year. I did some fake shopping, I guess window shopping on Amazon, and I was picking out a bunch of things that I would buy personally if I was going to grad school today. So I'm gonna put these up on the screen so you can see them. I'm just gonna scooch over a little bit so I can put them right here. But the first thing that I would get for graduate school is paper note cards. So they have the regular lined ones on Amazon, and then they also have the ones with the hole punch in them. So it's up to you on which ones you would like, but I have found that it's kind of helpful to have the hole punch ones, and then you can put those little ring binders in them, and then you can carry them around a lot easier, and you can kind of separate them between classes or subjects in your classes. So these flashcards can be really helpful to write out things like a list that you need to memorize. Maybe not so much definitions, but lists are a really good way to learn in that way, or maybe like your muscle facts, so learning like origin, insertion, artery, nerve, function of the muscle. You can kind of list those all on one side of the flashcard and then put the muscle on the other side. And like I said, you can separate them with that hole punch system into different like parts of the body or things like that. I think those would be very helpful, and that is something I would buy. Another way that I use the note cards without the holes in them, just the normal note cards, is I actually like to use this to track my studying. So the way I do it is I put the name of the subject on the top of the index card, and then I will list out every single PowerPoint or like study material I need to study. So whether it's PowerPoints or a packet you need to read through, I will list them all out, and then I will keep tallies of how much time I'm spending towards each and how many times I have read through them. So I find that very helpful, and it kind of lets you keep track of how many hours you spent towards a subject and kind of how much you have spent in each PowerPoint for that subject. And then once you feel confident in one, you can kind of like check it off, and then you know not to spend so much time on that. This has helped me a lot in prioritizing what I study, because you can't really learn every single detail of every single PowerPoint. So it's good to keep track of where your time is going with your studies so you don't forget a PowerPoint or a specific section of your class for your exam. Before I get into any more products, I just want to pop in here and let you know that if you do use my links below, they are affiliate links with Amazon, so I will make a small commission off of them, and I'd really appreciate if you do end up considering buying any of these that you use my links below, and it really helps support my channel. But anyways, let's get back to the products. The next thing that I would buy is lined sticky notes. So I really like these specific ones that my dad actually started using first, and I always would steal his, and I think they're very beneficial. So I really like to use these to write my to-do lists. I am a huge sticky note person when it comes to to-do lists, because it is just great to just be able to crumple them up and throw them away when they're all done. I like to use these to kind of write out everything, and then sometimes I will use one for like each day to kind of write out my week. On top of the lined sticky notes, like I said, I am a big sticky note person, so I would also use the kind of mini sticky notes. I will put them up on the screen, but I really like to use these to split up my day. Whether you fit a couple things on it or you just write one task on it, I like to kind of line them up and almost time block with them, and then, like I said, you peel away the sticky note and crumple it up, throw it away when you're done with the task, and it just has a really good visual representation of everything you need to get done. And then as you're getting it done, you can kind of see how your list of things to get done is getting smaller and smaller. The next thing that I would get are 5-star spiral notebooks. I've been using 5-star notebooks since probably like middle school maybe. I really like these ones. They're great quality, and you can even get the ones that are reinforced if you want. That might not be necessary, but this can be very helpful obviously for note taking, to just kind of keep all of your stuff in one notebook if you're a person that likes to do handwritten notes. Now, if you are more of an electronic note taker and digital note taker, whatever you want to call it, which I have become this in college. I just find them way more efficient with my time and easier to kind of manage, and honestly neater than my handwritten ones. And I I don't know, I like those a lot better than what I used to use, and it works for me personally, also because I, in grad school, recorded lectures, so I was able to go back and listen to the lectures on my iPad, and it kind of sunk up with my notes using Notability. So if you are more of an electronic person, I would recommend getting an iPad. You don't have to get the most expensive iPad. I am very fortunate that my parents actually got me the iPad. I always forget what it's called. I think it's the iPad Pro. So that is definitely like a lot. You do not need to get something that expensive. Just get one. When you get it, make sure that it works with the Apple Pencil. There are, I believe before that I had like the Generation 7, I want to say. That works with the Apple Pencil first generation. So you just need to make sure when you're buying it, you look to make sure it either works with one of the Apple Pencils, that way you can take your notes on it. But if you have the money to invest in one, I definitely recommend. It will save you so much time, and it just helps to organize everything. And then with that iPad, you would also need the Apple Pencil to write your notes with, but I will also include another pencil that's like an off-brand, because I'm pretty sure you can get an off-brand pencil that will work through Bluetooth. So if you don't want to get the Apple Pencil and you want to get something a little cheaper, then I think there are some off-brand ones. They don't have all the same features as the Apple Pencil, but they'll get the job done if you just need to like take notes. Another thing that I think is very important to have, because a lot of our exams are actually on the computer, is to have some sort of laptop or MacBook. I am a big Apple person, so I personally have a MacBook Pro, but other companies make other laptops if you don't want to go Apple. And I know some colleges like recommend not going Apple, some don't really care. It just kind of depends on what you use. But I know the big issue is Microsoft, but now you can use Microsoft on Apple devices and it seems to work fine. Whatever your preference is, go with that, but definitely look into getting a laptop. I personally just like MacBooks. Another item that I think is an essential is plastic folders. I really tried to go the paper folder route to use less plastic, and I just found that they ripped easier, so I ended up having to buy them more often, whereas in the plastic ones lasted me a lot longer. So I would get some plastic folders, because you will get handouts from professors and stuff. A lot of them try to keep it electronic at my program, but sometimes you still get those handouts, or you'll maybe even want to print out like a lab handout or something. So it's important to have some sort of folder to have with you, whether it is the ones with the holes and you keep it in a binder, or just like the normal plastic folder, which you can get a pretty good deal on a whole pack of them on Amazon. So that is something to look into. Maybe you could even get a whole pack and split them between friends and kind of split the cost that way as well. The next thing that is an essential for me are the Paper Mate pens. I think they're a ballpoint pen, but I love their colored pens. I use them all the time in my planners and on my calendars to color coordinate my assignments and tests and comps for all of my classes, and I just find them very helpful. Hello, I'm just popping into the video here to ask you to please consider subscribing to my channel to help me get to my goal of 1,500 subscribers. It'd mean the world to me. So anyways, let's get back to the video. Another thing that I personally think is an essential is some headphones. I think it's important to have like over the ear headphones, but if you have like earphones that are noise canceling, that might work too. But I think over the head headphones would be very beneficial, because if you're trying to study and you might not have a lot of options for studying, but even in the library it can still be kind of distracting. So having like over the head headphones is helpful to kind of block out some noise, or maybe you're trying to study a little bit in between classes, then you can automatically put those on and kind of get rid of some of that extra noise. This is something I wish I did, but I didn't get over the head headphones till kind of like the end of my schooling, so I didn't use them as much. But I also mostly study in my apartment, but sometimes even in my apartment I still use them because, you know, loud neighbors. So that can be really helpful to kind of block out sound. I have the Sony ones, but I know there are some more affordable ones, which I can also link those as well, some more affordable, because the Sony ones are a little bit expensive. But again, I am privileged in the sense that my parents were able to get me the Sony ones for my last birthday, so I'm very grateful for that. But there are more affordable options. You don't need to necessarily get the most expensive type of headphones. Another thing that I think is an essential is a monthly calendar. Whether you get a paper one that you can either hang on your wall or put on your desk, or you can get one of those dry erase ones, whatever one you think would work best for you. The paper ones, obviously, you have to buy a new one every single year. and the dry erase ones you can reuse over and over again, but you also will have to take the time to write out the month and all the days. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of which works best for you. I use a paper one just because it's easier for me. I don't have to remake it every month, and it makes it easy for me to kind of just plan out my whole school year at once. If you do end up getting that whiteboard calendar, then you will obviously need some dry erase markers. So I always just use Expo, but I know there are other brands that you can use. I can maybe link a cheaper option if I find one on Amazon. Another thing that I think is an essential is a dry erase board. With grad school, you are doing a lot of different studying than you normally do. It might take you a little bit to try to figure out your study routine and what works best for you, but one that I used a lot, even in undergrad, is using a whiteboard. And I use this less at the end of the year because I started using my iPad more, but I do think it's very beneficial to have a whiteboard. You can get like a decent sized one on Amazon. You can even get stands for them, which I also did that as well. So that way you can kind of stand and study, or you could put it on the floor and sit and study so you're not just kind of sitting all day. But yeah, I can link below the dry erase board and stand that I got that I personally really liked. The stand was not the most sturdy, but it did the job, so that's all that matters. I find it very beneficial to write out all of your material on there so you can kind of see it, talk it out, you can draw pictures and whatever works for you, and then you can just erase it and start over. So I know some people will do this on paper, but I think it's better to do it on dry erase board, so then you're not wasting as much paper and you can just keep reusing it over and over again. A lot of libraries will have dry erase boards for you to use, but obviously the library isn't open all the time. And if it's anything like my school, we have summer classes, but our library has not as much hours in the summer. So it can be really hard to get your studying in during that time, especially if you're in class. So I just think it's very beneficial to have one that you can use in your own apartment, or maybe you take it, I don't know, on campus and study outside or something. That might be kind of big to lug around, but you get what I mean. You have more options for when you can use that whiteboard. The next thing that is an essential is a planner. So you can either use a paper planner or an electronic planner if you have like an iPad or something, but the paper planner, it's going to be very important, or any kind of planner is going to be super important because you are going to be on a tight budget of time. You're going to want to make sure you're keeping track of your time and using it wisely, because if you do, it'll help you a lot. It will help you decrease your stress. If you just take a little bit of time to plan out your week or your days or whatever, it will help you make sure you don't miss assignments and you know when exam dates are coming up and everything like that. Another thing that I think is an essential, on top of having like colored pens, is also colored highlighters. I have the zebra pen midliners or whatever, and then I think I also have another one, but I can't think of the company right now, but I will also put that up on the screen. I have those two types of highlighters that are colored, and again, I use these to color coordinate my assignments. So I'll like highlight stuff on my calendar sometimes or in my planner so I can kind of see like which stuff goes with each class, and that is very beneficial so that when you're looking at it overall, you can kind of see like, okay, I have assignments coming up for this class or this class. I don't know, it just really helps to kind of organize what is going on in each of your classes. Another thing I would recommend is pencils and maybe even pens, because even if you're not going to be taking your notes by hand, there are still occasions that you will have to use a pencil, whether it's something that your professor has you fill out like a paper during class, or some professors may have you take a paper test, so you might need a pencil for that. But yeah, I would definitely still keep a pencil and pen on hand because you will still use them even if you are doing your electronic notes. I really like the Bic pencils. I'll put them up on the screen, but I use the 0.9 lead, but that's kind of preference on what you like to use. And I can't think of what the pens are called that I really like. They're a little bit more on like the pricier side, but I think they're really worth it. I can think of two pens specifically that I really like, and I will put up a third option that is more affordable if I can find one. I know I look like crap currently, and I'm in like the most random place, but I'm charging my MacBook currently and going through this, and I realized I forgot to add in like one or two things, which is the Netter Anatomy stuff. I would recommend getting the Netter Anatomy flashcards at least, and I mean the textbook at least, and then also the flashcards. I honestly use the flashcards more than the textbook because I found them really easy to carry around, but I know a lot more people use the textbook than the flashcards. But yeah, I would recommend the Netter Anatomy textbook and flashcards. The last thing I have written down, which I wish that I would have gotten this but I never did, is a laptop stand. So if you're in grad school, you've already been in undergrad school, you've spent so many years crouched over on your computer and everything like that, and it is probably killing your neck and your back and everything like that. So I would definitely recommend getting one of these. It just kind of brings your laptop up so it's more eye level and you're not hunched over on it all the time. I wish that I did this. I didn't do this, and I was always getting headaches and my neck was always hurting and everything. And I've heard such great things about having these laptop stands and how they have saved people's necks greatly. So definitely would recommend that. I sometimes would try to stack up books to try to do it, but it was too much work, so I usually didn't even end up doing it. But I think this would be beneficial in an investment into your own health, because it will probably save you some neck and back issues and pain later on. And you do not have time for your neck to hurt and your head to hurt when you're in grad school, so I think it is honestly worth it. Those are all the products that I would recommend from Amazon if I was going into grad school right now. I hope you guys found this helpful, and again, if you use my links below, I will get a little bit of commission off of them, and that is one way that you can support my channel. Another way you can support my channel is by hitting that subscribe button and also liking this video and interacting in the comments below. You can give me any feedback down below on how you think I can improve my videos. You can give me video suggestions. You can just say hi. I don't really care. Just interact down below. I love seeing comments from you guys, and they are very helpful to kind of help grow my channel more, and it's nice to see some comments from the people watching my videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Stick around to see more videos from me, and I'll see all of you in my next one. And good luck if you're going off to grad school.